I've been pretty quiet for a long time. I've been walking out the doctrine of the lesser magistrate in a pretty evil, wicked world. And it's a pretty funny thing that when in kindergarten we learn things that are really important. And sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And rubber, your glue, whatever you say, bounces off of me, sticks to you. Just very funny little statements that really ring true. The only power words have over us is the power that we allow them to take over us. And they have more power over us if they have various degrees of truth in those words. But if those words are not truthful and you have evidence, physical evidence, video recordings, audio recordings, written communications, emails, letters, that's completely contrary to the words are just hearsay. They have no power. Judge Rory Bell uses her words, and she did them in a very loving, not a loving way against me. She did it publicly in the court, and she did it again in the 1925B response. It's about narrative. And she's spinning a narrative to protect her pension, her paycheck, her promotion, her position, her power. And while I understand her position requires me to address her as Your Honor, I throw up a little bit in my mouth every time I have to say it because she is not acting honorable to warrant being called Her Honor. So I'm going to share something that I shared during my May 29th kangaroo court experience, May 30th kangaroo court experience, and I read this aloud on the record. I stood tall, my head back, shoulders back. I looked directly in the eyes of Judge Bell. I looked directly in the eyes of my then public defender, Larry Harmlin. I looked directly in the eyes of Mr. Srinivasan, who is the DA charged with prosecuting me. I looked at Trooper Kachka, who took the stand. I looked directly at Dr. Michelle Orner, who took the stand. I looked at Trooper Cernovic, who took the stand. I looked at Brian Fox, who was a witness on behalf of the state. Didn't take the stand, but he had no business being in that courtroom, let alone my witness, Mr. Anthony Faucitori. Oh my gosh, what happened to that man? I have no idea what happened to that man, but he wasn't at my trial. So this was what I read as an allocution. I'm going to read it again because it's very relevant for what has been happening as of late in the Chester County Courthouse. I'm reading this on Wednesday, August 27th at 3:58 p.m. For those that know, they know. It's got 30 minutes on this clock. And maybe I'll put a little comment in this video with a hyperlink based upon something that happens at 4:40. So, this is titled The Divine Truth Addendum. To accompany the testimony of Ryan Miller. I didn't bear testimony during my trial. I submit this written declaration as an affirmation of truth that transcends circumstances, court process, or social label. I do not speak merely as a defendant in a legal proceeding, but as a witness under covenant. What that means to me is that I function under perseverance. Not just endurance. Perseverance is my action to show that I'm manifesting fruit. Endurance is a way for me to mask visibility of fruit. I'm not an endurance guy. I'm perseverance, but I will endure to persevere. A man accountable not only to statutes and officials, but to the judge of all the earth. 1. Foundation of moral law. I hold that the law is not created by man, but by God. Any law that violates his order is not law, but rebellion. Where man's law aligns with divine truth, I walk in peace. Where man's law departs from righteousness, I walk in resistance, without violence, but without compromise. Number 2, my oath is not to myself. I serve not my ego, my comfort, or my reputation. I serve the one who spoke creation into being and who will judge every heart. That means my words must be few and faithful. That means I cannot lie, retaliate, flatter, or deny the truth of my King. 3, my walk has a witness. I've been mocked, labeled, threatened, slandered, but I did not revile in return. I did not curse those who cursed me. I held my tongue, though I trembled, because I know vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I forgive those who harmed me, but forgiveness is not silence. Truth spoken in love is not retaliation. It is redemption's invitation. For my standard is Christ. I follow the one who stood silent before Pilate and wept before raising Lazarus. I believe Jesus Christ is Lord, not metaphorically, not mythologically, but literally. He governs my conscience. He convicts my errors. He restores my mind, and he alone holds my final verdict. 5, let this be entered. I submit this addendum not to proselytize, but to clarify. My testimony is not emotional, it's eternal. My resistance is not rebellion, it's reverence. My truth is not new, it is ancient, tested, and unshaken. If I must suffer for righteousness' sake, I will do so with clean hands and clean heart. Let this court, and those associated with our court, and any who read this, know, so speak ye, and so do, as they that shall be judged by the law of liberty. That's from Jesus' brother James in chapter 2, verse 12. Let God be true, and every man be a liar. I rebel against the nature of the wicked, wretched, sinful, lying man that I am. I know those attributes are a sin-stained nature of humanity. And one's awareness is there because we suppress our unrighteousness with intentionality. And if you were to go slow enough, you would know what your body is doing when you're suppressing the truth. It changes the formation of your lips, the pattern of your breathing, the movement of your eyes, how your muscles relax and tense, the galvanic skin response. All of these are physical manifestations of how our body subconsciously is reacting to we are suppressing what we know to be true about ourselves, the evil nature. And when we rebel against that, our body releases some wonderful brain chemistry when we're in rebellion. You don't need to seek outside alternatives for that chemistry. You just need to live under the light of God's truth. So I'm just saving this for my own posterity and record as it becomes 4:04 p.m. on Wednesday, August 27th. And what's important about the 27th? It's the expiration of 90 days of supervision that the court had imposed upon me. They permanently banned me from being able to speak at Octorara School District. The judge said, this is administrative. I only have administrative jurisdiction for 90 days. I'm like, Your Honor, well, can I ever go back to Octorara? And she goes, that's an Octorara issue. And I'm like, no, it's not an Octorara issue. It's a you issue. The fact that you didn't choose to address it, well, that's a problem. I'll get that question answered at the appellate level because you chose to handle this administrative as opposed to lawfully. I had an affirmative defense. My affirmative defense, I have the right to publicly speak when I'm in compliance with time, place, and manner. I do not have an obligation to surrender a Fourth Amendment secured protection as a condition to speak. Now, while many people are going to be continuing to disagree with that, let me finish my journey. Your lovely Judge Rohrer Bell didn't answer that question. She punted. She kangarooed on top of me and punted. That's okay. I didn't have equal access. I wasn't going to resist, or I just said, Your Honor, I don't have equal access. I have nothing to say. I don't have due process. You do what you need to do. I will preserve the record so I can have this question answered at the appellate court. But honestly, the appellate court may not want to hear my argument. They're paid out of the same coffers as the judges are. So we'll see how that goes. But there'll be enough documents that if that goes one way, there's another destination. And whether I go there or not, that's up to me. But bless your heart, put this in your intellectual pipe and smoke it, and have a blessed day. This is Ryan Marikai, Culture Contrarian. Bless your heart.